Hey guys, it's Van DZLM back with Carpet Vanguard deck profiles. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, story. This time we're covering DZLM Set 2, so aka the second Lyrical Monasterio based booster that appeared in the DZ series, covering Charmout, aka the Lever Sorceress. So, you know, that one weird ride line, which I assume was Flamglam's testing gimmick, where they have an actual archetype and they try to see how well it can go with just the archetype of ride line. And then, at least what they did with Flamglam was 2 or 3 sets after it came into existence, they gave it new members of that archetype to help strengthen its consistency. What did they do with Charmout after not touching it for 4 years with a 10-foot pole? Nothing. But let's get this started, shall we, and see what we got, because my hate for this deck still stands tall, and unlike Flamglam, they did not attempt to fix it. First up, we have our Energy Generator. It is our Ride Deck Crest. You may only have one Ride Deck Crest in your Ride deck. Auto Ride Deck, when you ride, plus card to your Crest zone. If you win second, Energy Charge 3. Continuous, made a 10 energy. Auto begin ride phase, Energy Charge 3. Then act once per turn, energy about 7, draw a card. Arm pretty solid, you get a free 3 energy every turn. If you win second, you get extra 3 on top of that. And once you have 7 or more, you can blast to draw a card. This deck does actually have energy users. That's as best as I can tell you that Bushy tried to help the deck out, so that's the best explanation you're getting from me. Moving on to our starter, we have Lever Sorceress Kokris. Greater 0 boost, 5k shield, 6k base. On the roll pump, I can draw a card, just a standard starter. Don't have to draw if you go second. You do actually have to run this because the grade 1 does require this as the starter, and then the rest of the deck pretty much domino effects where it does require this unit. So yeah, you do have to run Kokris as the starter. One thing I want to know is how do they do this with like the O and the E, because I know this was present on some Cadwalla printings, like the one that came in the Youthberg trial deck, because I still have it, and that's one of my favorite printings of all time. But I know like if you go purchase a Cadwalla now, it doesn't have that like weird O and E, or like A and E I think it was for Cadwalla. But anyways, I want to know how they did that because it's really cool to me. Moving on to our triggers, we have one of our over trigger Demonic Fever Gavaria. Grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power. Over trigger, you may over trigger in your deck. If you vote as a trigger, move that card, draw a card, choose one because plus minimum for the turn. If you vote it during your jet check, activate the additional effect which you the player get during your turn. All your rear guards get 10,000 power during this fight. So cool, you know, on your rear guard side columns get 20k power each, and then your Vanguard center column gets plus 10k, but in this deck you're not swinging with the Vanguard column boosted, so your Vanguard's back row center gets 10k power. So not bad. It's great, really great for numbers all around, like great offensive push, especially because the deck doesn't get that many numbers outside of like the units that are picked by the main Vanguard ability, so that's really helpful. You can make this Volnut for multi-attacking, or you can make an Explorer for also multi-attacking and damage recovery as well. You could also add in the Asphoria over trigger for crit pressure and bouncing, but I prefer Galvaria because if you do sack it offensively, its effect lasts for the entirety of the game once you sack it. As for our normal triggers, 3 copies of Snow Skip Padavi, grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 4k base. Contains Guard Circle, 80 pounds Vanguards are grade 3 or greater, 5,000 to her shield. She's a 20k shield. She's also a front trigger, so she helps add numbers to the front row. Unfortunately, it doesn't do anything for the main Vanguard because the main Vanguard's power needs to be decided before the drive check happens, but cool that she pumps up the power of everyone else pretty much, and at least the Vanguard gets the power during the attack. It just doesn't do anything for her ability. And then 8 crit, so 4 original style Oshuka, grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power, makes any vanilla crit you want, followed by 4 copies of Shocking Candy Oris, grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power, again makes any crit you want. You could choose to make this Edwidge because the deck can run into a Soul Blast problem, but the deck has enough Soul Chargers to where you technically don't need Edwidge unless you're spamming every Soul Blaster under the wazoo. So 8 vanilla crit for pressure, and then 4 vanilla heal, and love that cat Lyson, grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power. I love this heal so much. She's just so cute, and I like running her in my deck, and she fits Charmout's theme, so why not? As for our normal units, we start off with 4 copies of Blue-Haired Prodigy Recess, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 3k base. Auto when placed on rear guard circle. Choose one variant, give 10,000 power for the turn. When the video that does showcase this deck eventually goes up, Recess is not in here for a different card that does Soul Charge, because I thought I would run into a Soul Blast problem with this deck. I don't, like I said a few seconds ago, so note that when that video does come up, I would have swapped out with Recess if I had known that I wouldn't run into a Soul Blast problem, because that was the first time I was using that deck. Anyways, giving 10k to any unit is great. Specifically, you're going to get that 10k to the Vanguard because the Vanguard needs to hit a certain power threshold, specifically 33,000, and in that version that didn't have Recess, it can hit 33,000, but it struggles to do so. In this version, it's guaranteed to hit the turn that you play Recess. So 4 of her. She's great. Her 3k base is kind of annoying. You do have to save her till you get to grade 3, but hell yeah, her number buff does help out the deck a lot. And then we have 4 copies of Vivid Night Festival Oralis, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto when placed on rear guard circle from the hand. Non-grade restricted, mind you. CB1, search your deck for up to 1 grade 2 or less card with Lever Sorceress in the card name, reveal it per to hand, shuffle your deck. So this card grabs any of the ride line that's grade 2 or less and pulls it straight to your hand, even though the deck can call it from soul, that's just deck thinning for you, and it does it all for a CB that you get by just taking a damage. So you can play this turn 2 after your opponent dealt you damage and then just board rush your opponent, and then act rear guard. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 grade Lyrical Sorceress, rest this unit, put any card you want from your drop zone to soul, give your Vanguard 5,000 power, who already gets 5,000 power, so 23,000 plus the additional 10,000 from recess, automatically you're at the 33,000 that you need to be at, and this card gets you a free soul as well to help mitigate the so-called soul boss problem. This is a great grade 1. It does its job really well. It basically initiates early rush, and enough worst case scenario gets you an extra rear guard that you can target for your Vanguard's ability from the deck itself, not to mention the fact that it does get you a free soul and ups the Vanguard's power for literally only resting itself, which isn't a cost at all. So for Warrior, it's just a really great grade 1. Then we have 4 PGs and Sturdy Sweet Samuel, grade 1 boost, 0 Sosis, K base, continuous sentinel, you have 4 sentinels in deck, also put on guard circle, choose one of your units, it cannot be hit in the battle, and if your hands 2 more cards, you choose card from hand, discard it. Standard PG, nothing to specify, basically means if this isn't one cards in hand, plus it on guard circle, you don't have to discard great, because that means be super aggressive in the early game, basically just spam Aurelus, again you want to save recess to your grade 3, and then basically spam your entire grade 2 lineup, that doesn't increase the Vanguard's power, and then your opponent does eventually counterattack you, throw down Samuel, give him the middle finger, you're good to go. Very solid PG to have in the deck. You can make it any Lyrical Monasterio PG. I just chose to make it Samuel because it came out the same set that Charmout was released in. It also fits Charmout's theme of being a Halloween girl, even though the new version is obviously Christmas themed. As for our last grade 1 in the deck, 1 of in the ride deck, 3 of in the main deck, because it's nice having these things in the main deck when A, they're pullable off of this skill, but they actually have decent rear guard skills. Lyrical Sorceress Hadia. So grade 1 boost 5k shield, AK base, honor roll pump by any grade 2 card with Lyrical Sorceress in the card name, so they ever upgrade the ride line. You may call this card to rear guard circle for free, and then if you did call it, you can soul charge 1 and put her back to soul at the end of the turn. So if you're going first, she's an 8k that you can ram into your opponent's 8k Vanguard. If you're going second, 8k booster to the Vanguard, so if they 15k your Vanguard for a 1 to pass on the Vanguard, when else a 1 to pass and not a no pass. So cool there for early aggro, and then auto rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked or boosted. If you have a 23,000 power or greater Vanguard, Lyrical Sorceress in the card name, put 2 grade 2 less rear guards of Lyrical Sorceress in the different card names from your rear guard into your soul, and draw a card. So cool, she can send herself, or she can just send any 2 Lyrical Sorceress with different card names. It doesn't have to be herself, but you can. And can send them from anywhere on the board, so they don't have to be in the same column. You get a free draw to replace the card sent to soul. She procs off when she attacked or boosts, and it can be a Vanguard of any grade as long as it's Lyrical Sorceress with 23k power or greater. Great grade 1, gets you resources back into soul, get you extra hand cards, allows you to early aggro your opponent, so you already know I'm biased towards her. So 3 of in the main deck, 1 of in the right deck. Then we have 4 copies of our first grade 2 Warm Shining Light Philizar, grade 2 5k shield, 10k base. One of my favorite examples of they really do need to update the fandom, because this card has been out for at least 2 years now, or about to be 2 years, and it still not only has its only Japanese art when I had to pull this off TCG Player, but it goes by its Japanese name, which means if you're trying to find some cards on the fandom on TCG Player, you're not going to find them unless you erase specific parts of their name. Like, for example, its name on the fandom is A Light of Life blank. If you put the actual blank, like the thing's name, it's not going to pop up on TCG Player. But if you put A Light of whatever I just said beforehand, it'll pop up this. I don't know why, but if you're trying to find cards on TCG Player and you can't because of the fandom, try using the thing before the comma, because odds are that's what's actually more accurate and that's what will pop up. Anyways, auto plus on rear guard circle from the hand. If your Vanguards are grade 3 grade Lyrical Sorceress, energy boss 3, choose a card from your soul called rear guard circle, soul boss 1, then give your Vanguard 5,000 power for the turn. So cool. EB3, any of your cards that you've randomly sent to soul throughout this game, aka anything you sent to soul off of this, you can just appear call out to rear guard circle, which is good for offensive pressure. And then, you know, if you want to soul boss 1 to give the Vanguard more power, so that way you hit the 33k threshold, you can. A combo play you can do is kill off Recess after you place her, send her to soul via Aurelus, and then proceed to call her back out with Philizar because she doesn't have to call specifically Lyrical Sorceress. So for Philizar, just a great grade 2 for combos. Then we have 4 copies of Holy Ornament Vorbera, grade 2 5k shield, 10k base, continues rear guard circle. If your Vanguard's a Lyrical Sorceress in the card name of any grade, she gets 5,000 shield, but if your Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, she also gets 5,000 power as well during both players' turns. So the 10k shield is by you simply playing the ride line, but then once you hit grade 3, she's a 15k as well. And then act drop zone, bind 2 copies of her from your drop zone, choose one of your grade 3 get a Vanguard's Lyrical Sorceress in the card and you get 5,000 power for the turn. For a card that's a double rare, that is the most restrictive way to get 5k, because he has on a once per turn, but to even pull that off in the first place, you need at least 2 copies to have left the deck, of which the deck doesn't search for it specifically. It's not a bad grade 2. The effort is appreciated. it could just be so much better. Because I don't think the deck really needed to bother with the shield value. Or like the shield value is good, but if it's gonna like require this specific restriction to get the 5k, I would have rather this card be a lot easier to give the 5k and it just has a harder restriction on the shield value if it gives the shield value at all. But whatever. For Vorbera, it's a solid grade 2. We're pressed for options with this deck. That's why it's here. Then we have Hop, Lop, Heart, Roclark. That was like a rhyming type of name. There was a word for it and I lost it, so I just said rhyming. Great chance at 5k shield, 10k base. Auto Soul, when your unit is placed on rearguard circle from your soul by the ability of your grade 3, get a vanguard with the very source of the card name, and you do not have a copy that's on your board already. CB1, call this card to rearguard circle, choose your vanguard, 5,000 power for the turn. Okay, cool. It costs a CB, which almost nothing else does cost a CB. Oh, except for, you know, your grade 3, whose important skill that even pulls that ability off in the first place costs a CB. And oh, your really good grade 1 who can pull stuff out from deck costs CB, but whatever. And then auto rear guard, and that she was boosted by a Levera Sorceress unit, regardless of its power. Energy Blast 3, you use to soul draw a card. Okay, cool. So, you know, you have a call target that you have on grade 2 that can proc off with Haughty on your grade 2 turn, which is nice. And she goes to soul as well to get you extra hand cards. And you can pull this off during your grade 3 turns where your Vanguard has like 23k base, to where Hadia can send 2 other rear guard soul to draw, and then she will still send herself to soul to draw a card, all around making her a very solid grade 2. I wish she was either Levera Sorceress or she didn't cost a CB for the superior call, but it is what it is. It's still a 4 of. It just doesn't mean I like it. And then we have Levera Sorceress Kalmina. Great chance at 5k shield, 10k base. Contains Vanguard Circle. If your soul has 2 or more grade 1 or less cards with Levera Sorceress in the different card names, when you would ride to a grade 3 card with Levera Sorceress in the card name from the ride deck, you can ride that discard card from your hand. So you ride the grade 3 for free. Okay, considering that the grade 1 gets you superior call, I wish like the grade 2 got you like a soul charge or an extra hand card. And I mean, yeah, like getting you to ride for free is great, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the grade 2 could have been a lot better, especially considering the other ride lines that we got at the time of release. Here, let me give you an example. Fennell's grade 2 on place, check top 7, yeet 2 cards out from them to your hand, but I'll digress from my point. And then auto rear guard, when this unit is chosen by the ability of your Vanguard with 23,000 power or greater and has Levera Sorceress in the card name, counter charge 1 to soul charge 1. It's a non-once per turn, soul charge 1, counter charge 1. Unfortunately, when you do choose this thing by the ability, it says you have to choose Levera Sorceress with different card names, so you're only going to be able to counter charge 1 and soul charge 1 once, but I mean, cool, it refreshes your soul, it gets you CB back. Do I like this card? No, but it's important for the deck's playstyle because for some reason the upgraded grade 3 still says you have to choose grade 2 or less units and not grade 3s, but whatever. Bushy does bushy. 3 of them in the main deck, 1 of them in the right deck of Kalmina. And then moving on to our grade 3s, we have Kadu, Amor, Charmout, grade 3, 10% 13k base. Now, I'm going to be a little bit transparent because A, you can probably hear the raining in the background. This is actually the day after I recorded the rest of this video because in the original section of this part of the video, I went on an entire rant about why this Charmout is bad without realizing until I was editing, which I stopped 2 minutes ago to re-record this, that this new Charmout is actually really good. And long story short, I compared it to Magnolia and Magnolia Patriarch, where I called this version the worst version of Magnolia, essentially, when in reality, this card is actually an upgrade over the original Charmout, and I was just too blind to see it for whatever reason. So anyways, let me give this card an actual chance and not just bombard it for no apparent reason. So dress up Levera Sorceress Charmout during this fight regards the original Charmout. So, you know, any searching skills that require the original Charmout, unless they specify the original card name, you are able to pull this card from it too. This and the Octopus run off each other as well. There's no need to run the original Charmout in the deck because unfortunately the Levera Sorceresses only allow you to proc off the skills of like the grade 2 or less, so there's no reason to have the grade 3 one. As for the second skill, act Vanguard once per turn. Counterboss will choose a total number of your grade 2 or less cards with Levera Sorceress and their card names from your soul or drop zone that is less than or equal to your opponent's Vanguard's grade. Call into rearguard circle, this uses 5,000 power for the turn. So in the original video that I chose to mock about this, I chose to say that this card has the audacity, specifically had the audacity, to force you to pick your opponent's Vanguard grade and call stuff from your soul. Because I thought the original Charmout called 3 cards of different grades, when in reality, it only actually called 2. So this card is actually a better upgrade, because both skills also gave 5k to the Vanguard, and both skills also cost a CB. Except this Charmout's actually better because, like I said, it has the ability to actually call 3 cards of different grades now, but it can also call them from the drop zone as well, and not just the soul, making it a much more versatile grade 3. And the second ability, Auto Vanguard, when this unit attacks while not boosted, choose 3 of your grade 2 less rear guards with Levera Source and their different card names, increase or decrease their power to match this unit's power to end of turn. If this unit's power is 33k or greater, and your opponent's Vanguard is also grade 3 or greater, Soul Blast 2 to end of turn, the back row center column rear guard chosen by this ability can attack from back row, perform drive checks. Every Persona this turn, you can ditch a hand card to give that unit +1 drive. Okay, cool. So it gives the back row center, which most likely will be Kalmia, twin drive essentially, but also it has the ability to match your rear guard's power to this unit's power, and if you want to give drive checks, use Soul Blast 2 for. Not a bad grade 3, and again, I re-recorded this because I could not in good conscience let this video go up where I'm just insulting Charmout all around when, at least while I was editing, I checked the original Charmout, and then I began to understand, yeah, this Charmout is actually a lot better than what I was giving it credit for. Very solid grade 3. It pulls out your units from the soul or your drop zone. Still gives it 5k for the same cost that the original Charmout did, while also being able to give drive checks to your back or rear guard and possibly even increase his drive checks as well. It's an okay grade 3. I still do stand by my point that I made in the original part of this video where I said that there need to be more Levair sources for the deck to be more consistent, but it's not a bad grade 3 for what it is right now. And then finally, to carry off the rest of the deck, we have our Gratias Godblade. So it's a grade 3 Regalia's Piece normal order. You may only have one Regalia's Piece in your deck and use it for 1 time per fight. Plays if your Vanguard has Persona Ride and you have not Persona Road this turn. After Persona Ride, so you draw a card, your farm gets 10,000 power, and your guard has Persona Road. This mainly is here to help trigger Charmout's Persona Ride skill a little bit easier. You could make this the other Charmout if you want to, because either way, you're going to want Persona Ride active to, you know, proc off your skill. However, like I just mentioned, the original Charmout is not as good as this Charmout, so I'd rather have the order instead, because while normally I do like to have a rear guard on my board that I can just swing with, I'd rather have access to this unit skill instead of the original. And without further ado, this is for this one. I hope all of you guys enjoyed. Honestly, this deck is okay-ish to play. Like, it definitely isn't one of my favorites, but at least now that I don't have like blind hatred going into it, I do think the deck is a little bit stronger than what I gave it credit for. But what it really needs is like the Flam Glam treatment where they get more members added to their team, and maybe just add a little bit more cards that increase their power. So like if they do add more Levair Sorcerers, definitely cards that add power to the Vanguard, because right now these ones require the Vanguard to already gain power from other card effects. So I'm going to end this one here. I hope all of you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, follow Twitch. I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to set up your Vanguards.